Hi there, Coastal Bend. This is your weather impact update on the cold weather. We are expecting rain moves in on Monday, freezing rain Tuesday morning, question mark. That is what we will be talking about. Thank you so much for joining. I'm meteorologist Carly Smith on this Thursday morning, 10:08 a.m. We are going to dive into those winter weather details. These are our Arctic air trends. So this is how the model data is trending as we continue to keep an eye on the forecast. It is not an exact forecast by any means, not yet. Any forecast that's really more than 3 days out is nearly impossible to nail down perfectly, even with today's technology. So here's a look at our trends. This is specifically for the Corpus Christi, Texas area and the surrounding coastal Bend region and into the brush country here into South Texas. So the cold front arrives Saturday for our portion of Texas. The trend is earlier, so Saturday is trending cooler. Temperatures are trending a little warmer, especially with the American model. It is not nearly as close to freezing as it has been, but it's still in the 30s as we head into Monday morning and Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. So I changed the possible freeze to January 21st through the 23rd, and it is trending a little warmer, but the freeze is still possible. Rainfall chances are decreasing and freezing rain chances are decreasing. Now that doesn't mean we're going to end up with nothing. It still looks like there's a chance of rain in the forecast. How much rain is trending a little down, and how cold it gets is trending up, warmer. So with that being said, there's still a chance for some freezing rain, but I am not confident in any forecast for Tuesday morning specifically at this point in time. Now, here's the upper pattern. I mentioned this on First Edition. One of the reasons I started talking about this yesterday as well, but one of the reasons I'm not fully sold on super cold temperatures is because we are still going to be under the influence of some Pacific moisture coming in from lower levels of latitude, right? So that red arrow is going to be much warmer air than what is coming in on the blue arrow that has colder written on it. So the colder arrow definitely funneling into North Texas, definitely going to bring us colder air. But how cold is still a little bit of a question mark. With that being said, I mentioned this in our web article on KIIITV.com. These long-range models, think of the atmosphere as cubes, right? So if you think of, I don't have a cube to like show you. I mean, this is like a rectangular prism, right? So if we are breaking the atmosphere down, this is a really small rectangular prism that could be what the model data is focusing on. When you get the long-range models, your prism or your cube gets much larger. So it's taking into account much more of the atmosphere. A lot of different layers are being factored in for what's happening at the surface, because it's not just pulling in the surface data, it's pulling in some mid-level data. So with that being said, mid-level is a little aggressive, but it's a bigger chunk of the lower levels of the atmosphere versus when we start getting the high range models, it's a much smaller chunk of the lower levels of the atmosphere. So it's tapping into the shallow cold air that tends to come with these fronts, especially in our neck of the woods. It tends to be a pretty shallow layer of cold air, and the warmer air is going up. The warmer air that's in place, that's going to be in place tomorrow when our temperatures are in the 70s, that has to go somewhere, right? So it's going to go up and over that colder air, and if that warmer air layer is in the box with our colder air layer that the long-range model is taken into account, it almost averages that out, and then your temperatures don't get as cold because the warm layer is being factored in, right? So once you start getting the higher resolution data in, you're focusing on just the cold layer and then just the warm layer, and then that helps us with our precipitation forecast as well. If the warm layer doesn't last very long, right, then we could see refreezing and we get sleet. If the warm layer is really big, then it's going to melt. We wind up with freezing rain, super cold water droplets that hit the ground and freeze on contact if it's freezing at the surface. So, yes. Hey, Manuel, thanks for watching. Anyway, that's a really kind of, I hope that made sense, but that's the best way I can kind of break down why I am not all in on freezing precipitation or freezing temperatures even, specifically for Corpus Christi. Now, with that being said, it is definitely going to turn cold and it is going to flirt with freezing, no doubt about that. So turning cold and breezy behind the front Sunday. So the cold front moves in Saturday. Then as we look at Monday, so Monday the cold rain develops. Freezing temperatures are possible overnight. So that would be Monday night into Tuesday morning. The trend is warmer, right? That doesn't mean we're not going to freeze, but we may not have a hard freeze. So with that being said, early freeze is possible, so that's your Monday night into Tuesday morning. If we see freezing rain, it will be Tuesday morning. There is another chance for freezing temperatures early Wednesday, so overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. One of the models is all in on it being colder Wednesday, one is not. So precipitation will come to an end on Wednesday. Now, the model that's drier on Tuesday is starting to increase the rain for the second half of the week. Maybe more Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a warming trend, but that's way too far out to really buy in on. And I'm just rambling and talking too much at this point. But it is trending warmer overall, but that doesn't mean we're not going to freeze. So here's my best forecast at this point in time for temperatures on Tuesday morning. That is our best. There's a chance we see freezing temperatures on Monday, but I think Tuesday has a better shot, especially for Corpus Christi. So Corpus Christi could wind up being low 30s. Inland Nueces County, better chance at those low 30s. Jim Wells County, even better chance at those low 30s. San Patricio, northern San Patricio, Refugio, B County, Live Oak County, McMullen County, and areas closer to San Antonio, 20s are possible, which could be a hard freeze. We'll iron out how long it could be freezing coming up. I'll try tomorrow, but really we need that high-res data to really know how long we will be at or below freezing and if pipes really need to be protected. So closer to the coast and further south, so into Kennedy County, southern Brooks County, coastal Clayburgh and coastal Nueces, which could include a big chunk of Corpus Christi, but more so Flower Bluff and the island. We're looking at upper 30s, possibly low 40s, and then the valley, South Padre Island, definitely 40s, possibly even 50s there Tuesday morning. So that's just an idea of how it's going to be cut off across South Texas. This is why the precip forecast is so complicated. I think one of the days we will freeze, Zach, but I'm not all in on every single day. Corpus Christi proper, not the airport, but proper where everybody lives, tends to be a little warmer than the airport because it's a little bit further out. That's what they said a few years ago, and I got 7 inches. Yeah, there is a graphic that Alan made last night that shows if the coastal low varies, and I used it this morning. I don't think I have it in this update, but if the coastal low varies, then that could be a whole new mixed bag of complications that could have us with snow, freezing rain. But right now, all of the model guidance has dry air in the snow growth region. And so Alan posted about that on his Facebook page. Here's what I mean when I say that as we go through these precipitation types. Below freezing, high up in the atmosphere, above freezing down low. If that is the case, essentially, you're going to end up with rain. It would be snow higher up in the atmosphere, but it would be rain down low. So that's what we would get there. Now, if this is assuming that our dew point and our temperature are the same, that this is saturated air. If it's below freezing throughout the atmosphere, you're going to get snow. There we have it. If there's a warm nose, so that's what I was talking about. Our warm air, when it's 70 degrees, 75 degrees tomorrow, that warm air has to go somewhere when the cold front moves in. It's going to lift up above the cold air. Because warm air rises, right? That happens in your house. So if we have a warm nose and then it's cold right again at the surface, the snow is going to melt. But then if it gets back below freezing, it would be super cold raindrops that then hit the ground as freezing rain. Now, sleet is the really complicated one. If there is a warm nose and it freezes throughout enough of the lower layers of the atmosphere, then you wind up with sleet. But the problem is our air does not look like it's going to be saturated throughout the atmosphere. This is our precipitable water, so the high moisture content is going to be in green. That may stay too far to our south, depending how strong the dry Arctic air is. Arctic air is dry. It moves over continental Canada, over the plains. That is dry air. So the only way we're going to get moisture that could produce freezing rain or snow is if we have moisture coming out of the Pacific or we get a coastal low. Yes, we will get a coastal low. Yes, we are seeing some moisture heading into Tuesday morning with this particular model, but the guidance is trending drier, especially in the upper levels of the atmosphere, which means the air may not be saturated in the snow growth region. And if you do not have saturated air that is below negative 12 degrees Celsius, so it's below freezing by 12 degrees, that's where snow crystals develop. Snow doesn't just happen at freezing. That would be freezing rain or ice. In order to get snow, it has to be negative 12, and there has to be saturated air in that layer of the atmosphere. And right now, nothing is showing saturated air in that layer of the atmosphere. So snow at this point in time is out of the question. When we take a look at Futurecast, this is one model run. This is the Euro. So warmer air, there's that warmer air Friday, tomorrow. 75 degrees our high temperature, which is crazy. Then the colder air moves in. That warmer air is going up and over the colder air. That's why we get some cloud coverage. But this Arctic air, if it's strong enough, could push enough of that moisture and warmer air to the south where we get cold enough throughout all layers of the atmosphere. However, that cutoff low or that coastal low drifts back north, and that's what's going to provide us with our precipitation. This forecast, when it comes to precipitation specifically, is very dependent on what happens to that coastal low. And the upper level data, or not the upper level, well, it's a surface low, so you're not really noticing it in the upper level data. And additionally, the long range data tends to not do very well on the exact position of a coastal low, the exact strength of it, how deep it is, how low the pressure drops, etc., how much moisture it has with it, the exact path of it. So that's going to be a complicated forecast. And once we start getting the high resolution data, which unfortunately starts to come in 72 hours out, we start to get a taste of it. But the better high resolution data, that would be the NAM if you're familiar with weather models, the better high resolution data, that starts to come in 48 hours. So that's 2 days in advance, right? So yes, it will be cold. Yes. Pretty good chance of freezing. I have us at likely. Not yes, but likely in Corpus Christi starting Tuesday. Colder air moving in, but rain still in the forecast for Monday as that coastal low drifts north. This particular model keeps the coastal low a little further south, which would provide us with freezing rain and or snow, but it also may mean the dry air takes over and we don't see as much of either. With the drier air in the snow growth region, that cancels out snow. So freezing rain at this point in time is our best option if temperatures are below freezing at the surface. This coastal low gets pushed south, and then the other model starts to tap into Gulf moisture here. This one's showing it as well. Not as into rainfall the second half of the week until that second front moves in. So there's another cold front at the end of next week. But anyway, that was a lot of information. It's going to get fine-tuned. It's going to get clearer. Today, it still is not, and that's the best I can tell you. But you should prepare for a freeze Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, definitely. Possibly Monday morning. So possibly Monday the 20th, but definitely the 21st and the 22nd, we are looking at freezing temperatures. Inland locations, Bee County, Live Oak County, you could get the hard freeze. So I would prepare for the chance of pipes being impacted more so for Live Oak and Bee County at this point in time, possibly Refugio County. And that's going to do it for this update. I'm going to look at some of the comments and then we'll end this live. Zach, if we see ice, it would be Tuesday. Tuesday morning is our best chance for freezing rain, which does result in ice. Latest data indicated, I want to say it was 0.05 of an inch, which is still a lot when it comes to ice. Yeah, Saturday is turning a little colder and a little windier, Meg, but it's still a great day, especially compared to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I hope that your event goes great and you enjoy the beautiful day. Today is actually the afternoon I'm looking the most forward to because our wind is light. So wind is out of the northeast, 2 to 12 miles per hour. Friday, it's a little windy, a little warmer. And then Saturday, 50s and 60s, not bad. The cold front does move through Saturday afternoon is the time frame now. And the wind doesn't really pick up until we get into Sunday. Very strong. So north wind 13 to 23 miles per hour. So that's a little stronger than Saturday, but the gusts could get up to 30. Daniela, that is the forecast as of today. No snow, just freezing rain. It has to be at least freezing at the surface for that to happen. So if we wind up 33 on Tuesday, we wouldn't get freezing rain, but if we wind up 31, we're definitely getting freezing rain. But Tuesday morning is the best chance for that. There could be some refreezing on the roads Wednesday morning, pending how cold we get. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much. I'm meteorologist Carly Smith, signing off.